Welcome to South Harmon.
Wednesday night AMA, we are live and in the building. What is up, everyone? Hope you're having a good midweek, Adam.
Yes, sir.
Weather around here finally getting warm tomorrow. It's supposed to be in the 40s for fuck's sake.
We were there today. It's it didn't melt all the snow away. It almost like it teased you, like it got the snow to a really reasonable level. Like you get to see it, and then the rest of it's gone. Unfortunately, probably not here to stay, but you enjoy it while it was here. Really nice also getting to drive around and not have to worry about fucking getting black ice, under you every turn,
I can't hear of black ice without thinking of that fucking Key and Peele skit. the black ice.
I love that. What's up, everybody? We got Govnick in the building. Okay, we'll get to questions. I promise you. I got them started.
It's kind of the point of the show.
It's kind of the exact point of the show. Howdy. Howdy to you. What's good, everybody?
Howdy
we got
to
DB
you.
here. Listen, I'd love to see your. What's good? We got my dogs. We've got full blizzard here. DB doesn't quite live in, the North Pole. However, if you ever wanted to go to the North Pole, I think you got to go through DB. So there's that.
Canada's like the whole thing is the North Pole as far as I'm.
True. DB, you ever been to the North Pole, or do you just feel like you live there, so you don't no need to go?
He's got a direct line to Santa. Why do you think he's always busy at this time of year? He's
it makes a lot of sense, and
he's doing it.
And he's always this time of year he even admits he's kind of always on the naughty list because he basically doesn't want to deal with anybody coming into a store trying to fuck with him. Hey, what's up, guys? We got JCap in the building. Mike, I'm wearing the Saquon jersey, kind of trying to bring back last year's nostalgia. Real quick, let's talk about just the thumbnail though, buddy.
Yeah,
Tua gets benched. Let's get into some of these so we can get to the questions. Make sure you keep the questions coming. I'm going to be starring them. We're going to get to a lot of questions. But there's a lot of questions we have, I think, before we answer questions, Mike. And was this certain? Was this benching coming all along? Was it the fact that he turned the ball over, and it was so poor last week? Is weird because they won 5 in a row, and you kind of forgot about how it was easy to forget about how awful their start was. Like they lost to the Browns. People don't forget, okay? Like that's hard to do. Playing better of late, their playoff hopes were barely alive. Offense looked awful. It reminded me, though, in the Pittsburgh game, this is a quick side tangent, that, man, never trust this Miami team to travel. I mean, especially when we go up north to the weather. Like, they're allergic to the cold, and it wasn't even that bad, I think, in Pittsburgh, frankly. But was this coming all along, and then what are your thoughts with Tua, holistically?
I think they showed on the broadcast, too. At the time, he was 0-5 in 40-degree or less games. Now you make that 0-6 with how poorly he looked. Woo,
yeah, I should have given that a lot more merit than I did in one league. Like oof.
I don't know necessarily if I thought it was coming. And we'll talk about some of this with Tua and the benching and like the implications of it. Right, it almost felt like he was bench proof. Not because of his play, right? Not because of his play, but some of the other ancillary things like contracts. So I didn't necessarily see this one coming. And when McDaniel said it before he benched him a couple of days ago, it was like, it just sounds like tongue in cheek. You know what I mean? Like we're going to explore all options. And then to actually do it, bench him for Quinn Ewers of all people, see what the Rooks got, if anything. I imagine not a lot, but that's just my preconceived notion of watching Quinn Ewers ruin Texas offense for years. And then to make Tua the emergency third quarterback and elevate Zach Wilson above him as well, it was like, okay, now we're putting him in a spot where we don't want you on the field because we don't want to kick in any injury guarantees. Now we're thinking about money as well.
I did want to say I think that's the biggest part of it. Obviously you benched him anyway, so it's not like putting him third. I think people will look at that and be like, oh my gosh, like he's fallen completely out of favor. I think they're just saying, listen, we're not giving any risk of losing any money that we already have to pay him.
Right.
angeredly. I think what I'll say is this. It's really interesting. The Halloween recap we were talking about, they won that game versus Atlanta and really turned around. And did McDaniel save his job? I think this move, Mike, is kind of like, okay, at this point, I don't have anything left to gain, McDaniel, right, by playing Tua here. Like, realistically. I think for him, it's almost like a shakeup that I don't want to say premature, but I feel like it's a shakeup he felt was necessary to try to act like, hey, I can get someone else in here and do a job that now looks like, okay, there's another reason, another scapegoat that's not Mike McDaniel, right? Tua just didn't have what it takes to get this team to the next level. I do think with Tua this year, Tua as a whole is not known for his big cannon arm, right? And Tua is a guy that is a pretty accurate passer if you look at his career. What you can't have is a guy that doesn't really threaten downfield with his type of characteristics, and then also you're watching the guy turn the ball fucking over and be careless with the football. I think that to me is on the field kind of what did him in. I think a little bit off the field, I feel like he had to feel the leash getting shorter for a guy with a bag, because if you remember about a month ago, I can't remember who they were playing, but it was talking about how he basically was trying to like hold the entire wide receiver room accountable and say that they're not being, professionals in essence. And I think that when you start to see that stuff, you got people turning on each other in the locker room, especially a guy like him. That to me is another thing. It's like you can't have that type of leadership too.
Yeah, it kind of was feeling there, especially with that one. We brushed it under the rug a little bit and didn't think too much about it, but I did see a lot of people call it out on X. It was like, man, it really feels like you're throwing your teammates under the bus instead of you taking the accountability for what your play is on the field. You're the starting quarterback. You're the captain of the team. You should be the one up there taking the bullets all the time, and you shouldn't be talking about, we're not showing up, on time to meetings. We're not in the playbook, like that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, maybe not. So yeah, maybe a little bit of the off the field stuff played into this too. But I say this for Tua, it makes for a hell of an interesting situation for us in Dynasty on what we do with Tua.
Let me ask you, is it that interesting? If you have him, I don't think it's that interesting if you have him. Now, if you don't have him, maybe. But to me, if you have him, what are you supposed to do? Are you going to move him for nothing?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. If you have him, like, what are you moving him for where you go, okay, I'm fine? Because let's just lay out some things. It becomes interesting from the standpoint of Tua's contract, which he just got. Now, we've seen some pretty big cap hits, and teams move on from quarterbacks and
right.
just eat it. Generally, when I see those teams, they're either contenders, like the Jared Goff situation when he was with the Rams, right? Like, they were like, we're a quarterback away, all right? We're just going to eat this shit. We got a good enough team. They're not bottom dwellers like the Dolphins currently are.
Sure.
Or it's a team like the Giants who had cap space in order to do something like that when they moved on from Daniel Jones and just outright released him. The Dolphins have a couple things going against them. They're not contenders, and they're kind of bottom dwellers, right? Like they're a very mid to bad team as a whole. And then cap space is going to come into play here. Adam, as of right now, they're $11 million over the projected cap next year.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have any trouble getting under, but with the team they have to be over the cap, it's the state of the team. I think, to the McDaniel point real quickly, again, it's like, I think for him, your best bet is if you get Miami to almost okay, like, hey, we got to clean this whole thing up. Like, we're moving on from Tua, and if he gets the blessing, so to speak, to go through the rebuild, all the shit's off his shoulders,
right? Yeah, they can make some cap space, right? Tyreek Hill, they'll save $24 million by getting rid of him, which seems likely. Bradley Chubb, same kind of thing, which also makes it interesting that they didn't end up dealing Bradley Chubb at the deadline, like, and get rid of him anyways. Right? Yeah. So he feels like a cap casualty, and then they'll probably restructure a few guys, but they're going to have to do a lot of that work just to get under the salary cap next year. And then you factor on Tua's contract. If he's cut his cap hits $56 million. And it's not like, well,
yeah.
we'll write him out like Deshaun Watson, because the whole Deshaun Watson restructuring that they did in Cleveland was so they can get out under of that contract in 2027, right? Like we're going to have to eat it for 25. We're going to have to eat it for 26. But in 27, we're scot-free, okay? We can get rid of his ass.
That's the one
Tua
thing
doesn't have that, though.
Well, he has. If you look at go to Spotrac, right? I think if you're the Dolphins, obviously you're kind of fucked here. Let's just be honest, right?
Yeah.
You're not in a good spot. I think if I was them, or if you're going to try to go through this, I think they're clearly going to try to move him. They're not going to get anywhere near what they think they're capable of or what they would like in a trade, right? I think you have to kind of roster him and not play him almost, right? Next year.
Right.
You go into 2027 now, so you get through next season, rebuilding, see what you can muck up at quarterback. And then you get to going into 2027 with the potential out of only 34.8 dead cap. That's pretty reasonable. And if you're going into a rebuild, you almost don't necessarily care if you're carrying his contract. I think if they think they're going to compete next year, I think they're just fucking not. They're living in complete fantasy land,
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. So back to, with all that being said, if I have Tua on my roster, I think you hold him. I mean, if somebody gave you a second, it'd be a fucking godsend. But Adam, like,
there's no
we
way,
see
right?
we see quarterbacks who are going to start, 2 games, 3 games, Jacoby Brissett's of the world. What's he going to be up 5, 6, 7 games here by the end of the season of what he started, being dealt for thirds all the time in Dynasty. So like I'd rather just hold him, and if he ends up starting some games next year, it's like I can get a third then. Like I don't need to make this kind of move now. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
just eat it.
Tua's in the range right now. Keep trade cut, right? Just quickly to give you a frame of reference or an idea. Point value wise, he's under 3K already. This is before. I mean, we're going to get meteoric shifting down, but Mike, he's only ahead of. I mean, dude, he's one spot ahead of Mac Jones.
Ooh.
I mean, so Mike, you're already at, I think, ancillary picks, right? Outside of the top 2 rounds. So I don't. I'll tell you the truth, Mike. If I could get Jacoby Brissett right now, like let's say I'm a contender and I'm kind of like didn't want to use Tua. I'm at this point now. You can't.
Right.
1 for 1, just give me Brissett. Honestly, like I know it sounds awful, and the short term is the only reason why. Obviously, the long term I don't expect, but I also don't know. While Tua, I think it will start again at some point. He may not be able to next season, realistically. So it's like, fuck it. Give me Brissett. I don't even think you can get that done realistically. And then once you get past that, I mean, what do you care, right? It's just hold and hope and pray because you get the backup land. I mean, all these guys that are lower than that are backups anyway.
So let's put it, if you're on a best ball contender right now, no trade deadline, you had Tua on your team, would you take a Mariota for him straight up?
That's what I mean. At that point, it's like maybe. I don't even know if I would, honestly. Like
I think
that's the point where like you could, but you could also just make the case. I'd rather just hold. If I don't have a bunch of zeros. Here's the thing. If I have extra zeros, I probably have to just move on from Tua.
Right,
I can't hold another zero.
You could be sitting on like neighbors, right? Devontae Adams is going to be a 0 for you. Like you could be sitting on this going into the semis with 5, 6, 7 zeros plus Tua now.
If I'm already at a bad number, like 4, 5 zeros, and this is going to be add additionally, I gotta have roster cuts. It just has to be. And
those shallower best ball leagues that some people play in, with only 20, 25 roster spots or bench spots on there, I think I'd be more inclined to listen. If I'm in the semis, fuck it. Like you give me Brady Cook and something, right? Just give me a guy who's playing because I want this fucking championship, right? If you win this week, you lock up money, like guaranteed. So.
Sure.
Do I also want to hold out because at some point I might get a second for Tua in 26 or 27? Fuck no! Like, give me the shot at money that right now.
One of the things I will say though is like, Mike, for me, this has nothing to do with Tua. Like the way I kind of build my teams in best ball or even in lineup, like I picked up Gardner Minshew in basically every league I could this week, right? Because this is the type those are the type of ads that it gets you by, especially in best ball, right? Like, so I think. If I've already made moves to kind of like patchwork this together at QB, I'm not desperate and I don't have a bunch of zeros, I'd probably rather hold there. If I'm kind of like push come to shove, I mean, dude, fuck it. I mean, Tua is probably going to be a dead asset. Let's just call it what it is, right? As far as he's not going to move up in value for a while, but he's getting to the point where what do you do? He's in the third round range, frankly.
Here's another like sneaky heady one that I would do and try to make this move because they're both like in similar situations, right? Not starting for their teams. Their teams have moved on. We don't know if they're going to play next year, who they're going to play for. Like we don't know anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like heady one for ones, if someone hates their Justin Fields share, like give me that. Like you take the Tua, I'll take the Justin Fields. You know what I mean? Because at least if Justin Fields, let's live in a perfect world where they both start 2-3 games next year for some fucking team, whether it's the Dolphins, whether it's Jets, whether they're both cut and it's a new team. Which one gives you more upside when they're starting?
I mean, it was never close. Yeah, it was never close.
By a landslide. So I'd do something like that. If we don't see Rich back, right, and they stick with Phillip Rivers, we don't see him back, he doesn't get an opportunity. Like if I had to add like a third to Tua to get Anthony Richardson, I'd rather shoot for that kind of upside play than hold Tua on there because while he's slightly more sexy than some of these career backups, right? Like you said, Mac Jones is down there. Like I would argue that Mac Jones has a better future outlook with the way he played this year in that San Francisco offense.
He has a better short-term future outlook because I think next year he's going into that spot of, okay, fringe starter, going into a competing situation probably at minimum.
I would argue that Geno Smith has a better long-term outlook than Tua, within the next 2-3. Yes. I
think Geno might have played himself into, I guess they're in the same range. I'd say that. They're in the same range.
Like the only ones that are down in this range where I'm just like, I'd rather have Tua, right? And we're talking some of the grossest of gross. Dylan Gabriel, like I'd take Tua.
I mean, dude, I already cut Gabriel in a dynasty best ball that's 30 spots. So yeah, let me ask
Davis.
Let's talk. Let's flip it before we get to complete puking. We still have people that are wanting to have good things happen in the playoffs. Let me ask you, what does this do, Quinn Ewers, and Zach Wilson as the backup now for Achane? I think let's talk Achane first. He's the biggest piece of the offense. Does it even change anything for him, or are you worried, or what does it do for him?
For him, it's probably the same offense. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was dynamic beforehand. I don't think it's going to be dynamic with Quinn Ewers back there. I don't think it changes much for him. Like when we look at it. Now, for everybody else on this offense.
Yeah. Well, I think for him, you could make the case, Mike. It's neutral at work. I think there's a chance it's better. Dump offs like crazy again. I mean, we saw this shit last year where the receiving game just went crazy. So I don't think it's any worse for him. I think there's an argument to be made it's better outside of the fact that he may have nothing but long touchdowns in his range of outcomes because the offense just doesn't move. I think Quinn Ewers will be forced to give him checkdowns because he's not pushing the ball downfield. I'd say Waller probably still is a little interesting because he could end up being a guy that's closer to the line of scrimmage, but I think he's probably even a little bit arrowed down. And Jalen Waddle definitely to me. We'll see even with he limped off the field last game, but he's definitely takes a big L. Remember too, this is like Tua's hand chosen almost. It felt like partner, running mate from college that force fed him the football, has big eyes for Jalen Waddle. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying that Tua's always kind of been locked in on Waddle outside of the Tyreek God days. Right. So
yeah, I think it's bad for everyone. I would put him arrow down except for Achane, just probably neutral. Same thing. I don't see a scenario that it's an arrow up for Achane. Like this offense is going to be even more efficient because it's not like Tua was pushing the ball down the field anyway. So it's just now you got a rookie quarterback who's probably going to actually turn the ball over a little bit more than what Tua has, which is weird to say because he's been a turnover fucking machine. But Quinn Ewers is not good at all.
Well, let's keep the quick. We'll go a couple quick hitters here on. Listen, this time of year, it always seems to be whether it's a combination of these two things, but players getting hurt. In particular, the quarterback position seems to get a little more hurt right now, and I think there's baked into that teams that get out of the mix when that's the Tua thing, right?
Right.
So here we are, Mike. Phillip Rivers is this one still boggles my mind. Like he's going to be starting for a second week. I mean, there's a chance he's their starter for the rest of the fucking year, whatever that looks like. One of the things that was interesting, I don't know if you guys caught this, but with Phillip Rivers, he reset his Hall of Fame status by coming back. You got to be out for 5 years, so he's got another 5. But you know what he gets for 5 years after this? Health insurance for those 10 kids. That is a fucking bag. That is a massive boner for, someone that's going to be on their own. I mean, shout out to him, though. That's pretty crazy. Let me ask you, I thought the offense was not great, but frankly, given what I thought, a little better. What is your situation? To me, I picked him up if I could for almost free in best ball, and that's really where it's at. He's a 2-week guy, and that's all it should be. What do you do if are you willing to buy at any cost?
No, not buy at any cost, but Jesus Christ, like a fourth.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, is there a pick? Are you willing to send a fourth, or is there no? I'm not doing that even.
In best ball leagues, yeah, you toss it out there because he might fuck around and throw 3 touchdowns. Now they're not going to be pretty, but he might throw 3 touchdowns. Like it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
I'm with
Superflex best ball leagues for sure. I picked him up in one lineup league just because I only have 2 quarterbacks in there. Just in case something were to fucking happen. You know what I mean? Like just put the cart before the horse and get ahead of it. But
yeah,
I mean, shit, you got 32 teams. He might be the 31st ranked quarterback, on everyone's fantasy ranks every single week. It did not look good with him back there at all. It looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was anything to do really like with the Colts hanging around wasn't because of Phillip Rivers. I thought the Colts hanging around was because the Seattle Seahawks had the most questionable defensive scheme I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was it was Halloween. It was just the Jason Myers show, not the Michael Myers show.
I'm not a Seahawks fan at all. Like I actually lean on not liking Seattle.
Really? You're not a fan of the 12s and all that? Okay.
No, I've never really gravitated towards them. But I'm like screaming at the TV watching that game like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what is this defensive game plan? Why are we playing off coverage against a 44-year-old quarterback who can't throw 10 yards down the field? I didn't understand it. So, listen, I hope that defenses and defensive coordinators everywhere just, put the fucking tape on and go, yeah, just press man. Good luck.
Well, let's talk, affected parties. So, Jonathan Taylor, Mike, was the quintessential league winner of league winners, if you will, right? He's now, I believe, I think it's 4 weeks outside, like running back 20 or worse the last 4 weeks. I mean, when I look at this offense, sure, Jonathan Taylor does have in his range of outcomes. You could break a long one at any point. He's that type of an athlete. But man, I mean, it doesn't even feel like that's real. Like I feel like he became a safe running back, and the upside just feels about as nuked as, putting something in the microwave.
He went from keeping pace with, a CMC, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, right? Like week winning running back to being second half Javonte Williams, all because of quarterback play, right? It started with Daniel Jones and his broken leg, fractured fibula, whatever the fuck he had there, and his terrible play. And Jonathan Taylor has just gone down and down and down. And now he's just up here because of volume. And it's like, if I get 13 points out of you, I'll be happy. And that's fucking terrible. Like,
since the bye, right? So the bye was week 10. I'm sorry, they play Atlanta week 10. He has 49 points in standard PPR, almost 50. They got the bye week 11, week 12, 13, 14, 15, 8.6, 15. 11.4, 13.1. I mean, Mike, you're talking about at that point. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Tony Pollard.
Oh, yeah. DeAndre Swift with a little less upside.
I mean, dude, no. DeAndre Swift, people don't like him. It's like the days of people liking him, or they feel like eons ago. DeAndre Swift is actually having a hell of a season, and quietly has, upside these last couple weeks. But, dude, I mean, honestly, it feels like for Taylor, without, this crazy play where somehow it's kind of broken defense, right? And he ends up hitting a hole and hitting a long one. It's just safe floor.
Yeah, it's not good. I I think it really highlights the arguments that a lot of people have had for multiple years about a running back position in the NFL, and how much they're actually worth, because we'll hear this every time a good running back's up for a contract, and you see these quarterback contracts, which are almost absurd at this point with what they're doing.
Right.
I think this is the prime case that everyone should point to. No matter if you're one of the most talented running backs I think we've ever seen, like Jonathan Taylor, right? There's an absolute fucking freak of an athlete, size, speed, does it all, catches out of the backfield, vision, the whole thing. And you can have a fantastic season. You see when that quarterback play drops off, what that does to you. Like, you cannot fucking carry a team as a running back in 2025 and going forward by yourself. Like, you need a quarterback, a competent quarterback behind you playing in order for you to function and you to get your stats. Like, you just can't put it all on a running back anymore. So when these guys are up for fucking contracts, you're probably still going to see these running backs still like, I'll be happy with 12 mil. You know what I mean? While these quarterbacks are approaching 60. It's just
what's crazy.
If you don't have a fucking quarterback, you don't have an offense.
What's crazy is RIP, but there was a day when someone was telling him, you'll never see that as long as I'm alive, and then he actually did get that bag, and I feel bad because this is a guy that, I mean, for the start of the year was absolutely on a fucking torrid pace. So this entire team shambled out. Let me ask you, Mike, do you have any interest in any of the pass catchers at this point? No. Would you buy? I mean, honestly, I think in lineup there's no chance I'm considering it. Best ball, if I'm like, back against the wall and there's not much else, maybe. But feels if you think JT's upside is nuked. I mean, I got bad news for you about Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren and company.
I had some hope for Tyler Warren and for Michael Pittman last week with Phillip Rivers being in there. But Phillip Rivers was worse than I could have anticipated. It was absolutely horrendous.
I mean, dude, he was not that great, frankly, in 2020. Right? It's been 5 years.
He was horrendous then too. Yes.
Yeah. The only thing is he does have rapport with Pittman, but that doesn't necessarily matter. We're playing in the NFL. I mean, the speed of the game is insane.
I figured there'd be a lot of short line of scrimmage passes. Michael Pittman's. I saw him throw a couple screen passes to him. One of them that fucking should have been a pick six and taken back the other way. Like, it's the slowest bubble screen I've ever seen thrown in my life. But I have no hope or no like. I mean.
Here. We got questions filing. Can we trust Pittman? I think the answer is unequivocally no. Rivers or sometimes I can't read, or I try to double put two words into one. Rivers or Minshew in a lineup league, it's easily Minshew to me.
Yes.
And that's not saying Minshew is much ahead of Rivers in rankings. It's just that there's a tier at Rivers of like the floodgates have opened. If you have to put Rivers in a lineup league, you are fucked. I mean, you're absolutely completely fucked.
Yeah, I'd easily start Gardner Minshew.
I think the weapons are slightly better in KC. I think the offensive situation and caller is going to be better in Andy Reid, and I think Minshew's, not 44, and he's erratic. He's a little bit of a gunslinger, right? So put the ball in harm's way. It could be ugly, but he could get you something decent too.
More of that Jameis Winston mode,
Right?
Hey,
Minshew mania. Minshew mania. Remember? Gosh, it's a while ago. People actually were buying into the Jacksonville Minshew mania thing. And he earned them the 101. Amazing.
And he's mobile. Like, he can move around.
He can scramble and make a play with his legs. So here's a good question. Let's say you're in the deadline's off, right? Do you sell JT now before rookie fever, or do you think his value holds up during the offseason? Also, Mike, let's have this question, and then also, are you willing to buy on a contender, or like, are you just not going down that path?
I'm staying away. That's not something I'm interested in acquiring unless the price is something stupid, right? Like something like, give me 2 seconds or some shit like that. But I'm not buying for a first because I think I can buy something better for a first. Right?
Or for the next 2 weeks, equivalent in potential production, maybe even better. Although long-term wise, it's not necessarily better at all.
And really, what is the long-term outlook on Jonathan Taylor? He's 28 right now. Next year he's gonna be or 27 right now. Next year he's gonna be 28.
He'll be 28 next year.
28-year running back.
I think it's I think he is similar to Saquon, not as fluid of a pass catcher, not quite as built in the lab as Saquon, but similarly, like If I was going to bet on a running back aging, okay, Taylor I think would be one of them. But you're at the point where it's strictly production. I mean, he's going to get to that CMC type mold where it's like you better be a god running back or your value is going to tank, right? So I'm with you.
This production's going down in the shitter, so listen, I highly doubt you're still getting these prices. You're still probably not getting RB4 prices. People have brains and eyes, and they kind of know what they're doing. But listen, I would sell now before it gets too much worse, right? Christian McCaffrey is out here at 29.5, carrying motherfuckers to championships, like putting teams on his back. He's struggling to stay at RB11, Adam. That's where we're at. Jonathan Taylor is about to go in the shitter here for the rest of the season when we needed him the most.
Taylor will actually be 27 next year. So he's 26.9 right now.
Yeah, he'll be 28 next year.
Well, he'll be 28 like after the season, essentially, right? He's gonna be 27 all season. So we're
close enough.
We're okay. We're okay. We're all right.
Either way, like it's going down in the shitter. But
he is getting to that point where like, here's the thing. CMC, I think, because of the injury risk he also carries, whether it's real or not at this point, that like if Jonathan Taylor next year, here's the bigger point. If Jonathan Taylor has an injury next season, like you look at the cliff, just absolutely fucking dynasty value free fall, right? Dynasty value free fall, straight up.
I think he's going to be in a free fall here all off season, anyways, leading up until contender season next year. Strictly because right now,
let's project. Let's go running back projection. So right now, let's talk in the off season. Yep, Genty or Taylor in the off season.
Genty.
Okay, Hampton or Taylor in the off season.
Hampton.
Trev.
Wow.
James Cook.
For
the record, James Cook's only 7 months younger. But he's going to probably finish much better, and he still has elite finishing outcome. Bucky or him?
Bucky.
Really? You think he starts going to this point? I agree with all the ones for sure. I'm not even saying he can't go past Bucky. I think around here is where we're having like a conversation. He might fall into this mix. Bucky, Quinshawn, CMC. I think he could fall in that mix. I don't think he'll go.
Breece Hall.
You got Breece ahead of him?
Breece Hall. If we get a Breece Hall situation change.
I was going to say Breece Hall is dependent, I think, on what happens to his situation. I could see Breece Hall going up if he goes to a really good spot.
Factor in Jeremiah Love's going to jump him too.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love will definitely be ahead. But I think you're probably looking at the range of 10 to 12, right? Probably is fair. I do think people will make a lot of excuses because of how good he played. So you might see him hover better than we expect, but yeah, I'm with you. Around 10. I think around 10 is probably fair.
Live in a world too with the team that's leading their division, leading the fucking AFC, leading the conference right now. Their rookie running back, I know on the older side, but we're in like prime season where everybody's going to remember what you do in these next 2 weeks. Say RJ Harvey comes out and fucking smashes these next 2 weeks.
Well, it'll be very interesting. Very interesting. I do think though, of the ones below, I think Harvey's probably the only one that could really surpass because he does have the capital. Everybody else is probably, like Jacobs he probably finishes better or might finish better, but he's older, right? So we get to that point in the combo.
Kyron and Saquon, Cam Scatterbo, Chase Brown, like none of those guys next have a whole lot of opportunity.
But let's use Saquon as a good example, right? Saquon coming off of the season he had last year was like if JT finished the season the way he started was what Saquon was, right? And I mean Saquon again, he's going to be 29, so he is a year older. But the point is, or a year and change older. Point is, you can see if the production doesn't start very well for him in the beginning of next year too, it could be where he's 10 or 12, and then all of a sudden it's like people are ready to on to the next thing. I would say this. I probably, while I agree with all that, I think I still need to. If I could move out of a top 5 running back price, like if I can get off of him for something like I could probably get for a Trevion Henderson, like I'm selling. But I think a lot of people are kind of nowhere near paying what KTC claims that he's worth, if that makes sense right now, right? And if that's the case, I think you're kind of forced to hold. But I do think he's going to trend down on the offseason. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I think your best bet is to – I mean, you're going to have a specific group here, but, RJ Harvey in a plus right now would be an easy one. Breece Hall in a plus would be an easy one. Just Give me something that's going to wind up in the same range as him and just a free draft pick on top. Thank you very much.
Brissett or Baker and Brissett or Dak is the question following. I think this is rest of season or this week maybe. So
Has to be. Has to be.
Well, of course. I mean, it's not Dynasty. I don't know if it's rest of season or like this specific week. Definitely, it's not Dynasty. Would you? Let me ask you this honestly. I think Mike, with how he played in production versus the Texans defense, this is gonna sound crazy. Aside from like Allen, Mike, I think I got to get him in the lineup right now. He's a walking top 10. He's a walking top 10. As crazy as it is, it's just I feel like it's the old rule at the casino, man. Never leave a heater. Like I'm fucking getting blackjack after blackjack. I got to keep going. You know,
keep at it.
Look at their matchup too. I mean, and what are they going to do? They're going to be down. They're not a good team. They don't have any reason to pull him. He's not some, future guy. Like,
yeah,
it's to me, it's Brissett over Baker, especially because Baker has been spotty. I think Dak is a much more interesting conversation because Dak, outside of this week, he was tearing it up, same level. So I think this one is pick your poison. I don't have a problem if you want Dak, but I think I'm definitely playing him over Baker this week and probably for the rest of the year.
My only hesitancy with Dak this week is the Chargers and their slower paced and a pretty decent, pretty stout defense. So that one would worry you just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we'll get to Minshew and the Chiefs offense here in a minute. Go ahead. What do you got?
Okay. Yeah, fire up Jacoby Brissett out of those three.
I'm going to be honest with you. Every now and again, you surprised me. I was really trying to go heavy on the one side because in my heart I knew Mike was coming to bury Brissett. But I'll tell you this, Mike. To me, I'm going to run warp over here. See if we can do it for. When was their bye? Can you give me that info? I was going to run it from the bye after.
The Cardinals.
Yeah.
That one didn't help worth a shit. Nope, strike it out.
All right, I got you. Here, so Arizona's bye was week 8. So let's go week 9 beyond, right? So week 9 and past. I want to run warp. Mike, I'm gonna be honest. I think he's in elite territory, frankly.
I think he's probably 7 is my guess.
I'm gonna be honest. I think he might be higher. I'm gonna guess like 5. Let's go to.
I think it's that rosy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm kind of cheating, though, because I'm looking at his weekly finishes.
All right, let's run a,
Just a guess, though. I'm going 7.
All right, I'm going 5. I wouldn't be surprised to see even higher than that, but let's go. I'm going to just go to a regular scoring league. That's nothing crazy. All right, running the warp on it now. Let's get to Minshew here real quick. Let me ask you this. I think it's obviously there's no way you can tell me that it's an upgrade or there's not a downgrade. You lose Mahomes for the weapons, right?
Right. The offense as a whole is fucking terrible.
That being said, I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are here. I think of the scenarios, it's not Brissett, okay? I don't think, but it's of that ilk where I think it kind of is like a clusterfuck, but he's gonna chuck the ball around. I mean, their run game has kind of been suspect as it is. They need upgrades at the running back position. Where are you at? I mean, I'm curious with him. How much of a downgrade is it for? Let's just say, obviously, Mahomes was a top 5 quarterback, and he was playing towards his better years. What do you think of Minshew rest of the way? Do you think he's a quarterback 2, a high end quarterback 2, a low end quarterback 2? Where do you put him?
I'd say
back end quarterback 2,
low end quarterback.
That's
2.
fair. And let's talk about it then. Would you, if you have him on the wire, it was already gone today. If you don't, if you didn't get him priority, right? What are you willing to pay?
Pretty easily a third.
I was going to say, I think a third's fair. I think a second, I'm just. It's not even that I care about the second. We've gone through the second's not that valuable. It just feels a little bit like I think at that point I could probably get something better.
Patrick Mahomes was struggling here, especially the last couple weeks, to really get this offense functioning. and
it's been
he's
somewhat stagnant, right? It's been somewhat stagnant.
He's got his own gunslinger mentality, so it's not like, oh wow, it's a complete different change. It's not like going from
Mike,
Kyler to Brissett.
Sorry, I just all right. This is your Idiot League Mates, which is just a PPR league. Okay.
Yep.
Quarterback 2.
Ooh, there you go.
Mike, that is nuts.
That is crazy.
Mike, I told you, but that was a little bit tongue in cheek. I didn't mean it quite that extreme, but I was like, I don't know. Outside of Josh Allen, I don't think I got to fire him up. Warp tells me I'm exactly doing that. I don't think I have a scenario where I have a good quarterback to sit Brissett for, but if I did, I would be strongly considering it, man. Jeez.
Fire him up.
Dude, Mike, think about this. Weeks 9 to 14, so just those 5 weeks, 1.9 warp the kid's giving you in a standard PPR league with no juices. Like, asset 6 in fucking – that's crazy. That's crazy. It's a super flex league, but again, anyway. Minshew, don't be expecting that, but I think it's reasonable to expect, a back-end quarterback 2 that could give you high-end quarterback 2 numbers in a good if it works out. I think the weapons, if they can stay interested, keep the team not from completely reeling, are okay, right? I just don't know that I believe in him as a sure thing. I think it's a wild card, right?
Patrick Mahomes couldn't get this thing functioning, and I don't have a lot of faith in Gardner Minshew being the saving grace. Right?
Well, I mean, of course not that. I mean, right. Let me ask you, for Rashee Rice, how worried are we for Rashee at this point?
You should have been worried a long time ago. You should have been worried when he came back, and I told you that what he was doing was a fucking fake and a fugazi. Like, I don't know what else you want from me. I tried. Like, he's a fucking running back masquerading as a wide receiver, man. And that's how they want to use him. And for whatever reason, that's the way Andy Reid wants to run this fucking offense. And it has been a detriment to this entire fucking team.
Well, I was going to ask you, though, given that, I think, oddly, I don't know then if it's that much of a negative for him given relative to what it was. I mean, because they're just giving him check down plays anyway. It's like,
right,
targets inside of 10 yards. So they might.
I don't know.
It might be similar, honestly.
It could be, or Minshew could have a favorite.
I mean, it could be. Right? I'm not going to say it couldn't be worse. It's Minshew, right? I mean, sure.
He could have somebody else that he favors, right? He could be like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to throw it to Travis Kelce all the time, or I'm going to listen, I played enough on the fucking scout team with Tyquan Thornton. That's my guy. Fuck it, he down there somewhere.
I do actually think Travis Kelce it was interesting that he threw the pick. It was to Kelce. It was like he only threw a handful of passes, but they all seemed to go to 87. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's probably arrow down for Rice. I'm not saying it's not, but I just think the way that they're using him, I think they'll draw up some plays. I'll just say I think his upside is capped. His upside is probably gone. I think he's probably
massively capped.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the whole offense.
He wasn't doing it on efficiency numbers. It's not like he was getting downfield and catching, 80-yard fucking bombs for scores. You know what I mean? So
sure.
It's like, well, we get a lot less red zone trips. We got worse quarterback play. We're probably not going to score as much as we would if Patrick Mahomes was back here. So, listen, these goal line, quick dump offs, tunnel screens, whatever the fuck we were running for Rashee, like that shit goes out the window.
The one thing I will say is this. I also think I forgot. I wanted to mention this. I think it's a tale of two games possibly here. They're playing the fucking hapless Titans this week, right? So I don't think you have many options outside of better than Rashee Rice realistically to play anyway. But I think this week that you could see the offense be okay because Tennessee's that bad. But Mike, I'll tell you this: first Denver, the next week, buddy.
Nope.
Championship game is going to be rough for people that have Chiefs in there. Frankly, it's going to be ugly. So, you might get away with it here in the semis, but. I would honestly it's one of those where I think I'm looking at matchups and next week already, and maybe kind of surfing the wire if it's not if it's a redraft league, surfing the wire for another option. If it's best ball or dynasty, you're probably there's not much you can do. So, all right, let's that's kind of all I had for that. Mike, real quick, I do want to get to one last question or discussion here. Players for the last couple weeks of the season that you think, given either the schedule, the way things are kind of changing to the guard, so to speak, that haven't done shit for you that could really pull through, so they're people you should be considering starting in your lineups or possibly, adding on the cheap here for your playoff push. Who do you have any top of mind or people that you're thinking about?
He's right behind me. He's looking over my shoulder. TJ Hawkinson from tight end U.
Noah Fant? I know. TJ Hawkinson. That's fair.
Okay.
All right. TJ Hawkinson. Talk to me about TJ Hawkinson.
Well, with J.J. McCarthy playing better, especially these last couple of weeks, and you've also seen this emphasis, too, on him getting the ball to his tight ends. Now, 2 weeks ago, it was Josh Oliver. Last week, it was T.J. Hawkinson getting involved. Hawkinson here for the last 3 weeks, right, 13, 14, 15, has been right at back-end tight end 1 territory. And this is coming from a guy who did almost fucking nothing for the entirety of the year. Like, just nothing. Like, oof, gross. So I think with McCarthy playing better and this new emphasis on, hey, listen, TJ Hawkinson is pretty good. We should get him the fucking football too. And, I'm open. Find me. Use me. I'm a pretty goddamn good tight end. And then you look at the schedule. Giants this week, and then the fucking hapless Lions defense in your championship game. Yeah.
And that's an indoor game for the record too, right?
Yep.
Detroit.
Yep.
So I will say it's been a rough season, and the stats won't tell you that it's been all that great the last few weeks anyway. But what I will say is the targets are better, but more importantly, the yardage is better, right? I think the McCarthy's – I think he had 250 this last game. So it's not like you're going to get a huge amount of volume and a huge amount of upside as far as passing volume overall. But I do think I'm with you. Better days should be ahead for him. Let me say we got a comment here. Jefferson and Hampton. I don't know if this is about that. Jefferson's always a threat. Like realistically, it feels like he hasn't been this year. But if we're going to talk about Hawk, obviously the same probably goes for Jefferson too. Hampton's intriguing. It doesn't quite look like he's moving the same, if I'm being honest. But, every week he's a young dude. Every week they're, probably getting healthier. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Hampton pop off at all.
It's the only problem I have with Hampton this week is versus the Cowboys, and they have made it an entire emphasis this year, starting from Michael Parsons' grade to what they did at the deadline to stopping the run. And they absolutely fucking neutralized the Vikings in a game that, Cowboys needed to fucking win. They stopped the run. They couldn't really contain J.J. McCarthy, which was the weird thing that we didn't see coming. So Aaron Jones did. He's been a notorious Cowboy killer, did fuck all versus them. Jordan Mason didn't do fucking shit. So I don't know if Hampton, like you said, looks completely right. He's looking a lot better, and he's taken more of the load from Kamani Vidal, and he looked more efficient than Vidal last time.
Yep.
The thing about Jefferson is I'm not sitting Justin Jefferson, especially with the way McCarthy's playing against the Giants. It's an easier matchup. And let's not forget, we look at the final stats and we go, man, Jefferson, 2 catches, 22 yards or whatever the fuck it was. But there was 2 touchdowns that could have happened for Justin Jefferson. One, he dropped, went right to his fucking hands, perfect ball, piss missile from McCarthy. The other one was an illegal formation one. That got called back because he had already started his gritty and then looked back at the ref and went, fuck, Are you kidding me? So, listen, I think the connection is building. And in the semis, if these are my 2 choices, one, I got more questions about Hampton than I do Jefferson, and I would be fucking gutted. So if this is the fucking week we get a Jefferson 20-pointer, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I'm rocking Saquon's jersey. Like I really think I don't. This is not This is the higher end one, right? But it's looked a little better. I do think it's kind of like what was it versus the Chargers 2 weeks ago? He had the 52-yard run, so that was a big part of it. It does feel like they can't really quite spring him loose like at all like last year. But Washington, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention at all. It has gotten to be shamble time over there in a big way. This week they're playing Washington. The next week they're playing Buffalo, who's been completely gashed on the ground. So. It's not like he hasn't been the old Saquon. I think we could get 2 weeks of I don't want to say last year's Saquon, but, top 5 running back for the next couple of weeks, I think is very much in the range. He's the high-end one for me. I'm curious, Mike, if you had anyone else, too. I got a couple others.
Colby Parkinson. I see there's already some shit in the chat about Parkinson.
He hasn't done shit all year until recently. And let me ask you, do you think this can continue? Because he's had 6 touchdowns in the last 6 weeks, which is crazy.
Yep, no Devontae Adams here tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football. So he was already ruled out. So yeah, it's the Puka and Colby Parkinson show, for fuck's sake, man.
Yeah,
fire up all your Colby Parkinson. He's the crazy thing is I remember doing the rookie scouting and looking at like Terrence Ferguson and being asked about him. What do you think about him at tight end? Like you're kind of the tight end guru, and I was like, I don't know. I don't really give a shit.
Right.
And then he got the draft capital, and people everywhere are telling me how fucking great he is because how good he was at the combine. And I'm like, I don't never seen it like in a game. Like I've never seen it in a game. But they were telling me how great it was going to be. Handpicked by McVay. This is going to be his tight end. This motherfucker is the tight end 3 at this point. Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen have both been like, you're a little bitch. You stay on the sidelines. And Colby Parkinson has taken the lion's share of that. So they're getting him heavily involved.
Yeah.
And I think tied to Matt Stafford, Colby Parkinson that's pretty easy start at tight end.
That's definitely a good one. Let me give you this one's a little bit deeper, and I think unfortunately he's scorned us at times, many a times, especially when we really depend on him. But when we don't depend on him, when we forget about him, Mike, Jaden Reed. These last couple weeks, Christian Watson hurt, Matthew Golden hasn't fired, never has fired. He's got to the snap share last week that we were wanting. Chicago's a good defense, but they're to be had, and next week it's through the air. I think Jaden Reed has some. We've already seen his boom potential. I think he could end up being one of these guys that literally has done nothing all season. That ends up like, holy shit, the guy finished with 2 top 10 finishes in the playoffs.
One other one that's kind of gotten brushed under. The last 3 weeks have been pretty good for him as a whole, as a totality. But we went through a pretty good stretch of like 4 or 5 games, which I'm still getting questions on start sit every single week about this fucking guy, Courtland Sutton.
I had a feeling you were gonna go there, which is kind of crazy because the dude is just never thought fondly of it. Feels like
no. Courtland Sutton, man, it feels like they figured out that this is our alpha, right? We're done with the Pat Bryant bullshit. We're done with the Troy Franklin shit. We're done with Marvin Mims, whatever the fuck that was. Evan Ingram, we signed and we don't want to use him ever. So it feels like as this offense picks
remember when
back up,
Sean Payton called him a joker and people were all back in gung ho.
Yeah.
That was a big limp noodle.
But Courtland Sutton's kind of getting disrespected, and he's hovering right around really, really good wide receiver, 2 territory. And
we talked about this real quick, Melly, and
24.
Sorry, go ahead.
After this last week with a 24 burger on the board, right, and kind of a quiet one. We didn't give Courtland Sutton a fucking blow up on the Sunday recap, even though he kind of deserved one.
Honestly, he did, and it was one of those. I think actually we didn't even get to that game. One of the things when the buys are the early part of the year and the late part, it's like, damn, you got to get through all the games with no buys. It's a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Pause. That's a big pause. Jiminy Christmas. A little bit thicker.
Girthier. But yeah, I would imagine if you were able to run
that call.
Once Koopa gets it up for week 15, if you look at the last 4 weeks with Courtland Sutton, he's right around back end wide receiver 1 territory. But we're still having start sit questions on, do I start Wan'Dale Robinson or Courtland Sutton? Fire up fucking Courtland Sutton everywhere.
With you. I think what was the other one I had here? Oh, do you give any of the? Let me ask you: are you buying into any of these gross running backs? I do have one more that's not this, but are you buying into? Because I saw a question here on this. Estime, not necessarily just him, but Estime, and who was the other one? This week, let me go back to this question. Evan Hall, like these type of deep gross dives here. Are you buying into this?
Maybe Evan Hall a little bit because the guy did have some fucking juice. He had juice at one point. Audric Estime's never had juice, and he still continues to not have juice.
They're both like Debbie fame, a little bit here, but I'm with you. Evan Hall, I think, at least has I think the way that what was weird about the last way once Neal got hurt, right, was like they were using Estime as like this pass catching back. I don't think that's if Evan Hall, I think, should get the pass catching work. If that's going to be the case, it's Evan Hall's the intriguing one to me. I think Estime is kind of we already know he's the definition of a plotter, and I don't know. I'm pretty lukewarm on either one of them, frankly. But
Plotter,
I'd add him in BB. Best
Plotter's nice. Plotter's a nice term because he runs like, Brian Robinson, but Brian Robinson when he got shot in the leg.
Jeez, that's actually hilarious. Yikes. Deep dive here, but has been really coming along and has done this before in the later part of the year. Shout out to Jake, not from State Farm, from Carolina, but Jalen Coker has been running the routes and has been doing his little thing. So that's a deep one, hopefully a best ball one for you, but you could do worse and it'd start 11, 12, if you had to come into a flex. So I think that's good for it. We'll get to questions. Let's get Fizzle some run here. Keep the questions coming. I'm gonna be starring here, and we'll get into those. And Mike, this is it, man. This is the marbles. So it's nut up or shut up, right?
Nut cutting time, baby. Nut cutting time, literally.
Let me ask you, how many are you still in? I'm in 8 at this point.
I don't know. I didn't sit down there and count, but I think
you're in a lot more leagues than I am. That's a tough question. I'll let you look through maybe.
I think I got 15 or 16 playing in the semis this week. So
all right, definitely you'll take that. Let's see here. We'll get the fizz and we'll roll. Let's go.
Let's rock.
Welcome to South Harmon. Welcome to South Harmon. Hey, welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Another AMA. Ask me anything. Super chat is cool if you wanna pay to play. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate. Let me introduce you to the tear down king. Mike McNutted, ask your questions, he'll answer anything. ATM, you know Adam, put them graphics on the screen. Glad you tapped in now, stay tapped in for the team. Hey, everything is posted. Go follow the socials. South Harmon FF tag us if we get noticed. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Another AMA. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to South Harmon. We are glad you're here today. All right, Mike. We'll just get through a lot of these. Start 2. Jaylen Warren, Carter, Jaden Reed, just talked about him, and the Slim Reaper Smitty. Where are you at here? You got to pick 2.
I think I want to put Jaden Reed in for a lot of things that you said.
Attaboy. I love that we're on the same wavelength here. It worries the fucking piss out of me now, but I'm bought in on Jaden Reed this week.
Yeah, so that leaves 3 guys for 1 spot now.
So let me ask you, this Jaylen Warren thing and Kenneth Gainwell, it's a
too much
weird
of a fucking split.
It is, and then also like I don't know. It's only one series, but like they gave him the ball 3 times at the goal line, and he just could not punch it in. I feel like that's again, it's like one of those upside thing with Warren here that just I don't know, it feels like you don't have the biggest upside, frankly. At the same point, I mean, Smitty feels like he's been a long ways from upside too lately.
Yeah, massive. Now the good thing for Devontae Smith is he gets the Commanders on Saturday. Don't forget, we got Saturday games this week.
I was gonna say for lineup leagues especially, don't be out here, lollygagging around. Get your lineup prepared today.
Yeah, we got Saturday games this go around. 2 of them: Eagles, Commanders, Packers, Bears. I think I'm gonna go with the 2 wide receivers. I'm gonna go Jaden Reed and Devontae Smith. But listen, I don't with the way Smitty and this Eagles offense is, even with a tasty matchup with the Commanders.
I was just gonna say
I think there's a fair case to make for one of these running backs, and it's not Jaylen Warren for me. It would be Michael Carter, which fucking in the semi for fuck's sake.
No, I think I will say, listen, Carter ends up because of the way it was, I think with the roster they had active, he ends up with like 80% snaps. I do think, who was it that's going to possibly be back? DeMercado, thank you. I think that kind of gets, maybe down to like 60-ish. But Michael Carter, the other thing about him, while he's not super, obviously far from sexy, he's got a somewhat of a well-rounded game. I think also this offense with Brissett still could give you a bunch of checkdowns too. So I think I probably, in this scenario, it's going to sound crazy. I'm going to play Jaden Reed and Michael Carter, where you're like, the guys you probably were rocking with more so are going to be Smitty and Warren. But there's a reason you're asking the question. And you don't feel great about Warren, and you don't feel great about Smitty. And I think I'm there.
Michael Carter's got three things going for him over DeMercado, in this, even with him, potentially being active this week, the whole thing. One, Michael Carter never dropped the ball at the fucking goal line and got his ass chewed by the head coach. Two, he's a better pass protector.
And got assaulted,
He's a better pass protector. And three, he's a much better pass catcher out of the backfield than DeMercado. So, and with Jacoby Brissett like that, he's going to throw 40, 50 fucking times, sling the ball all over the place. That would be my case for Michael Carter over Jalen Warren. But I'd say this. I couldn't do it because I'm an Eagles fan, and I look at the Commanders and I go, what a terrible fucking defense that can be had downfield. And we just had the get-right game from Jalen Hurts in the passing offense. It feels like they're going to pick on fucking Commanders even more. Feels like
the problem is it might be for a quarter, because once – it could end up being where they get up and it's like, all right, we're done throwing. I mean, we're going to throw 12 to 15
good enough
times.
for it to only be a quarter.
Fine. At some point in quarter two, it's like, all right, we can just run the football.
There's no fucking way. Unless we get Kellen Moore back, that ain't happening.
I would rather buy JT at this point because I think he's going to cost less, and I think the upside's there. I mean, you saw last week. I mean,
you'd rather buy JT or?
No, I'd rather buy ETN than JT. Yeah. ETN's gonna be cheaper, and I think his upside's higher for the rest of the way. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'd rather buy ETN.
All right, pick two. Judkins, Tyrone Tracy, Aaron Jones, Pittman. I think Tyrone Tracy's a lock here.
I'm going Tracy and Judkins out of this group. I think he listed them.
I am too. I think. Can I tell you, dude? Listen, this Judkins thing, while hella talented and the start was awesome, it is really tapered off. He had a top 10 finish, I think, one of the last few weeks, but it's just an offense that's just hard to watch. And they, even with Shedeur in there, it's like we just don't want to see the best player on this team beat you. So they're stacking the boxes, and I'm playing Quinshon because the volume's there. I still feel, but given the options, I'm playing Quinshon. I'll just tell you, there's spots, Mike, I'm thinking about not playing him and like lineups at 9.
The Bills' defense is only the Bills' defense in name. Like, it's just our perceived.
They can be had. They can 100% be had.
They can be had. Last week you saw, Ramondre Stevenson was fucking cooking them. Travion Henderson cooked him twice. Twice. The week before, while the Bengals didn't run the ball a whole lot, fucking 5 yards per carry for Samaje fucking Perine, for fuck's sake. So yeah, give me Quinshon against the Bills defense.
Listen, this one isn't even close to me. Yeah, absolutely.
Brissett.
I just gave you if you go back and check, number 2 in WARP since the bye.
How many quarterbacks realistically would you start over Jacoby Brissett?
Mike, I mean, it's obviously Allen. I really believe, I'm being serious. I'm not saying you have to play him, but I think the conversation starts after that. Like, matchups, and, there's definitely matchups this week that you might prefer to play over Brissett, but I mean, dude, tell me he's not at least in the conversation with everyone else, basically. Like, if Lamar was moving better, go ahead. Let's talk these out one for one.
I'll give you a handful. Drake May, Lamar Jackson.
I'd say Drake May, I would agree. Lamar is, I don't necessarily fully agree there. Maybe.
Jalen Hurts this week versus the Commanders.
Jalen Hurts in this matchup, I 100% agree. I would play him.
Josh Allen. Sure.
Allen Hurts, May, I'm locked in with you. Yep.
Joe Burrow versus the Dolphins.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't necessarily think you have to play Burrow there, dude. What he just said, what he's continuing to be asked at the podium. They scored no points last week. Like, he's not an auto start for me anymore.
And C.J. Stroud versus the Raiders.
I mean, the matchup for sure. It's definitely possible, but let me just let's see here. Atlanta, Mike, also, by the way, not a great defense against the pass. And again, they played the Rams and the Texans the last 2 weeks. He gave you 20 points both those weeks. And if you look prior, I mean, I think, Mike, I agree with most of those names you said. I think Lamar probably is one of those conversations. Could you actually start him ahead of Lamar and actually feel good about it? You'd have a hard time if Lamar went off and Brissett didn't. But I think he's 5 or 6 in my rankings this week. Like that's where I'd put him. Like he's definitely going to be right in the mix. I think Dak in this week versus the Chargers, I don't like that matchup.
Nope.
I think Burrow right now is a little bit hard to trust. Obviously, his upside is nuclear every week, but like I'm starting him ahead of Baker. I'm starting him ahead of Purdy, which I think was the question here. I'm starting him ahead of and then any of these other guys like Jordan Love, definitely. So he's comfortably top 10. I think easily could be a top 5 play this week.
I think about however you feel about Matt Stafford this week versus Seahawks on the road should be about the range that you feel for Jacoby Brissett.
Let me ask you, well, because I think I'm a little bit worried about that matchup. It's a short week. It's a tough place to play. It's a division game.
No Devontae.
I think I'm playing Brissett ahead of Stafford this week.
I wouldn't hate that one. But that's kind of the range I'm talking for Jacoby Brissett. Listen, I'm starting the two studs, and I'm starting C.J. Stroud versus the fucking Raiders over Jacoby Brissett. But that's probably the end of the list.
Number 2 in WARP. Just remember that when you sit him. I mean, you got to have some fun. Listen, I think you got to have just as big as stones to sit him as you do to, sit some of these other guys at this point. He is on a fucking heater. Here's a good question. If Marv's back this week, do you still roll out Wilson?
Yes, I'm still starting Michael Wilson unless you got one of these crazy teams. Now, I had one of these, and, this team's going fucking home. Right, it went home last week, so it is what it is. But unless you got one of those where it's like Michael Wilson or I'm trying to think of like a real good fucking name to start down there. AJ Brown.
I mean, it's not crazy though.
It's not, but listen, AJ Brown these last 3 weeks has been cooking himself. Right? It's crazy to think, especially where we started with AJ Brown. But that's what I mean. If Marv is back, slight downtick for Michael Wilson for sure, right? Like we knock him down, and then you go AJ Brown versus the Commanders. Like if that is your choice, you could think about sitting Michael Wilson. But unless it's that, if you're talking like, would I start Michael Wilson or Ladd McConkey? Fucking Michael Wilson. I don't give a shit that Marv is back. Ladd McConkey hadn't done fucking forever. So I still want to fire up Michael Wilson in most spots, even with Marv back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Michael Wilson becomes a wide receiver too. I think with Marv out, he is a borderline back end wide receiver 1 just because of volume. I mean, it's otherworldly.
Here's the crazy thing: Michael Wilson has really kind of opened my eyes to his game, and I think this isn't just a one season kind of wonder deal. This isn't a Travis Fulgham scenario.
No, definitely not that. That would be
now, especially with the impending quarterback change. It feels like they're done with Kyler. Like it feels like we're going to see Kyler somewhere else next year. Like it's cooked.
That ship sailed. We'll see what he has elsewhere.
It doesn't mean it's gonna be Jacoby Brissett, right? Like it doesn't mean that, but he's probably gonna get first crack at it. All I'm saying is like where we stand right now with it. I had somebody offer me, I'm out of the fucking playoffs. I got Michael Wilson. Somebody offered me a trade as a contender. They wanted to get Michael Wilson, and I'm sitting there going like, Michael Wilson long term, I think is worth more than what the fuck you're offering me. It's not just a throw-in. So I'm thinking about like, listen, I'm already out of the fucking playoffs. I'd rather hold Michael Wilson than what you're offering me. So that's kind of where I'm at with him.
I do think like the team investment of Marv, and here's what I will say about it, right? Like I agree with you. I think the team investment of Marv, and I think when you look at this offense, right? Like, see, I think the reason that Kyler's definitely cooked is because you're at the point where realistically, for Michael Wilson, right, like for this offense, Kyler Murray just isn't getting it done ever at the passing clip. Like you basically see, he doesn't have to even be Brissett, but a guy that can sling the ball around can really get yards all over the place. What do you got?
That's what it was. It was fucking Redwoods. I knew it was an infamous.
Well, that's that you can just that's a Redwoods issue, not a
that's true.
It's a Michigan thing. He wouldn't understand.
It is. He wanted to give me Calvin Ridley 2/3 and a second for Michael Wilson, Darren Waller, and Chris Rodriguez.
Boy, that's a lot of gross in
Not
that.
the It's not the Waller Rodriguez thing that made me say no. It was the.
We talked about this, Jay Melly. I don't think it's any downgrade. I think you could argue it's
neutral,
definitely neutral. And I know it sounds crazy, but I could argue it's slight uptick. Frankly, Tua has been fucking terrible this year, dude. Honestly, like Tua's not been good. I don't think Ewers is good. I do not think Zach Wilson is good. But I also think like you kind of might see more checkdowns. So it's a guy that kind of just getting stats if the team sucks. All right, so love you guys over here in the UK. All right, what's up, man? We global. We global.
Let's go.
It's now official. Either one of you guys will start at RB before Marshawn Lloyd ever will. I hate that guy. What a wasted pick. This is an elite comment. And I think it's an elite comment because we've had our Marshawn Lloyd love, and it's gone. It's completely out the window.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, Mike, this guy keeps promising he's going to play, and he just doesn't. I mean, it's Brandon Ayuk or Marshawn Lloyd, bigger, no-show at this point of the season. It's rough.
Marshawn Lloyd, Jesus, fuck. Oh, I got to look it up now since Jay brought this up, man. I got to see how much Marshawn Lloyd I still have and how many roster spots I'm going to free up here.
It's time to go. Mike, unburden yourself. Unburden yourself with that, I started Diggs over Sutton. I lost my first round because of that. That hurts.
I still have 10 shares of Marshawn Lloyd, so, there's 10 free roster spots. 10 leagues that get an opening.
Wow, that's a lot.
Man, somebody started fucking Diggs over Sutton.
That one, I can tell you, Mike, I'm not the start-sit guy, okay? I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that I'm the best start-sit. I'm actually probably in the conversation of the opposite, the whoa. There's no chance I would have done that. I've not been very Diggs all year, though. So, pick 2, A.J. Brown, Smitty, Ladd, Evans, Tyrone Tracy, Parkinson, 1.5, I think is the tight end premium for Tomahawk here, Mike. We're picking 2. Did you like what you see out of Evans? Is that locked in for you, or what are you thinking here?
Man, he's only got to pick 2. What a good fucking.
By the way, with A.J. Brown, one of the things, so A.J. Brown had the wide receiver 1 and 5 finish 3 and 4 weeks ago. Last week, he was 30. The week prior, he was 17. I don't know what it is. I just don't buy in quite like ever. I'm not quite back into bought in with A.J. Brown. I'm not saying I won't play him in spots, but I'm not like all the way back in, if that makes sense.
I think I'm going to rank this Evans, Tracy.
So I'm with you. It's Evans easy, okay, for me. I was curious if you were there. Like, to me, Evans is the lock. Evans is the lock. And then you have a lot of really tough calls here. Because A.J. Brown, Ladd, and Tracy all have upside, but not big downside.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I ain't considering Ladd in this fucking group at all.
I'm not either. I don't know. I don't know if that is a hot take. Maybe I'm also
no fucking chance. No chance.
I'm with you.
I think I go Evans, Tracy. If I had to rank them, Evans, Tracy, A.J. Brown, Parkinson, which is crazy for me to say.
If it's 1.75 or 2, I'm having a real Parkinson conversation
Move
here.
Parkinson up a little bit more. And then it'd be Smitty as the last of that group. Ladd does not count.
If it's full PPR, it's Evans and probably Tracy for me.
I think I'm going Evans and Tracy. Listen, some people tried to sell me on Devin Singletary last week. T-Rock.
I will say, if you wanted to play A.J. Brown over Tracy, I don't hate it at all either. It's reasonable still. Brown's my close third, but I think I'd roll Tracy.
Listen, my it's tough, man. Evans, A.J. Brown, Tracy, Parkinson all deserve this. Smitty's kind of the clown one out of it, and it makes it for a tough one.
This is why the A-Warp tight end is such a thing, because, Mike, you probably, if you're having this conversation, you have a tight end you can't sit Parkinson for. But if you had rolled that tight end into something different into the roster, right, that value, now you just get to auto put Parkinson in there. I mean, what a time to be alive, Are you playing Corum over Diggs and Hampton in separate leagues this week? Am I crazy? Corum over Diggs, not even close. Go ahead. What do you got?
Speaking of the Diggs thing last week, last AMA, I think we had a Diggs question for start sit, and I was like, nah, I don't want to start Diggs. Like, the snap share is abysmal. Like, it's not good. Like, I'm off the Diggs train. Somebody in the comments got me. And Adam, now you mentioned Mike Evans, so I thought this was a good time to pull it up. This is why I love YouTube comments. Diggs going up against Bills this week. Definitely starting him over Mike Evans.
Huh? I will say it was the short week. You haven't seen him in a while, the offense as a whole. But especially now after seeing what we saw with Mike Evans, it's an auto start for me this week. Not even.
I bought into it too. Like, I read the YouTube comment. I played nice. I said, snap share worries me, but you're right. He dropped 24 on him last time on only 50% snaps. So,
son of a bitch.
Whoops.
Son of a bitch.
Whoops.
All right. Let's rapid fire here. So, Corum over Diggs and Hampton in separate leagues this week. Am I crazy? I think over Diggs is not only is it not crazy, you'd be irresponsible to play Diggs over Corum.
Over Diggs, yes. Hampton, a little bit closer, man. Go with your gut.
I will say the thing about Corum this week is, in particular, the matchup in the short week and going on the road. I could see where if you want, I definitely think Hampton is. I'd probably put Hampton over Corum, frankly, but Corum is I think he's a high-end flex, honestly, at this point. Really.
Yeah.
You do a lot worse than Corum in your lineup.
Yep. I mean, he's damn near splitting snaps.
Dude, and he's been efficient. It's like he's really fresh, you know?
He's like Kyron if Kyron had a little bit more juice.
Yeah. Dude, good luck for that in the offseason. That'll be fun. That'll be a long time with no production and a lot of crazy takes. It's going to be awesome this offseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start to JJ, T, Wandale, Harvey, Brees, Godwin. Okay. I think, Mike, there's a couple here that are tough to kind of. Dude, Wandale Robinson in this offense, you don't have to like it, but the volume is going to be there. RJ Harvey, you could have been worried early, but he's, still the workhorse. Mike, I think I'm probably going with JJ and Harvey here.
Yeah, I'm going for the upside swing. God damn, this makes it tough, though.
T is also a tough one, man.
No to Brees, no to Godwin. How about that? So
yeah, unfortunately, it feels about, especially with Brady Cook being announced going to start this week, right? Like the Brees experience last week was dead. God, it hurts.
So I'll automatically X those out. So now I got to pick two of JJT, Wandale, and Harvey.
I go. My rankings would be RJ Harvey 1, JJ 2. But not far behind is then T and then Wandale.
Here's the tough part for, and Eric brought this up on Start Sit with the fucking Dolphins, and then with what we just saw from the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Can you name a cornerback for the Miami Dolphins?
I can name X cornerbacks. That's about it,
Exactly. Right. So, listen, I want to fire out JJ.
Well, I mean, dude, did you see the entire secondary get absolutely – the fact that DK scored on that play is still the craziest thing. Bro, yeah. That was absolute manhandling. I'm sticking there. Harvey, JJ. T would be my close third, and Wandale would be 4, but, man.
I just gave you everything
D-Walk,
good.
this is why he listens to us. Look at this fucking team, man.
I just gave you everything good about like JJ and why I wanted to start him. Listen, I'll say T is close enough for me.
It's definitely close, JJ and T. I'm not saying it's not.
I'm gonna go Harvey and T out of these.
Are you? You're flirting with Dan.
The only thing we agree on, I think, is RJ Harvey, right?
Yeah,
Just
I think RJ Harvey has the safest floor and a very good ceiling too. I think T and JJ have undoubted ceilings.
Well, Geis brings it up. If he's not passing concussion protocol this week, then fuck it. This makes it easier then it's Harvey and JJ.
Definitely. I don't think I could start Wandale comfortably ahead of JJ. Yeah, I'm with you.
But if T. Higgins passes concussion protocol against the unnamed Dolphins offense,
anytime T's playing
unnamed Dolphins corners with Quinn Ewers leading that offense, which could be turnover prone and a lot of 3-and-outs.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you though. Burrow's scaring the shit out of me, the living shit out of me right now with some of the stuff going on here, right? Eliminated from the playoffs. He's up there like, this is his like therapy time. I'm 0 points, Mike. The one thing about the Bengals you almost guarantee is that the offense is going to be there. 0 points. I don't care if it's division. Like, Mike, actually, let me tell you know what? We should go through this. I bet you Joe Burrow has never in his entire NFL career had a 0-point game before last week. I would bet strongly on that. I mean, that if that doesn't scare you at some capacity, check your pulse. Are you alive? Like, that shit was crazy.
So T. Higgins did dress today for practice, and he was out there doing walkthroughs.
The thing is, though, isn't that like
protocol?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of just it's typical based on what they're trying to do here. All right, need to. I think if T ends up making the protocol, which he's probably on track to play, you have a decision to make. But need to flex in PPR: Goddard, Hawk, Brees, Pat Bryant, Matt Collins, Hunt, or C-Rod. So you don't have to play a tight end; they're just both there. See, this is where you make me just think about playing the tight ends, though. And we get to this level of fucking gross, right?
Of shit. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Rodriguez yesterday was a full participant off the injury report. Tuesday. A late scratch Sunday. Like, what?
Right.
With a groin injury. I don't get that one. That's really odd to me. But I just think for that Washington team, like, he was the starter by, like, default, I guess. But it's like, at least when he was out, JCM had a little bit more upside because there was more touches to go around. For one, it's a clusterfuck right now. It's a three-way fuck fest in a way. So I'm good on. I think I'm good on Chris Rodriguez. I think now with Minshew, I'm good on Hunt.
No thanks.
I'm probably good on Pat Bryant. Maybe Matt Collins. I don't know, dude. I don't think I can play Matt Collins here.
Yeah, I'm very good on not playing Matt Collins.
I'm just saying, like, relative, like, at least Drake May, I feel like, could throw the ball his way. Like, I don't feel good about the situation where the offense is elsewhere. Do you play Brees here? Do you play Brees and Goddard? What do you do here?
I think I'm playing Goddard and Hawkinson, to be honest. Like, it.
Dude, no tight end premium. You imagine flexing two tight ends?
The Brady Cook, it's against the Saints, who aren't terrible on defense. They're
the only reason I'm thinking Brees is because they're not bad, but they're not great, right? Like,
they're not great. Yeah.
I think I play Goddard and Brees here. Mike, because the last 3 weeks while Hawk's been better, it's been like 7 points in PPR. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. I think I go Goddard and Brees here, personally.
I mean, they did give up 179 yards to the Bucs a couple weeks ago. The Saints did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was split.
Dude, if you can't play Brees here, you might as well fucking move him. I mean, we're in desperate times if you can't play him here, right? I mean, come on.
Play Brees and Goddard then.
Yeah, I think that's what you got to do. God, that's gross, Jay Nelly. He made me really have a hard. I mean, I could throw it up right now. That's rough.
Dude, and I got goon squads, absolute fucking goon squads watching this week. This guy's talking about fucking
Gardner Minshew. Here's a good one. Do you just play the quarterback here, or is it Igbuka or Shakir? I think you have to.
Neither one of these wide receivers are good enough or playing good enough right now.
Shakir, Mike, they're down. Think about this. Last week, right? I talked about this on recap. The Bills are down 21-0, and you tell me in that scenario, Shakir is going to give you, mid-teens, right? Like, brother,
no.
What is happening? Like, and Igbuka, I still love the talent. I think he's going to be great in Dynasty, but dude, he's just not had he's not had anywhere near of a floor to tell me that I can play him over a Minshew at the moment, especially with Evans back, right?
Here's the real question: is there a starting quarterback for this week?
Rivers.
Rivers, you'd play one of these guys over him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we got to get to the point where it's like, dude, I don't trust any upside at all, right? Like, Rivers, I'm trying to think if there's a worse. Like, maybe Ewers, honestly. I don't know. I think the conversation is like, yeah, Brady Cook, right? I'm talking the hapless, right? I'm talking the absolute dog shit.
Rivers might be the only one just because, at least
Rivers, I think I actually legitimately would not play over these two
Brady
guys.
Cook, Quinn Ewers,
you can have the combo. Right.
They're young and they might run one in.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
They might run one in. They're playing for their lives, right? They're playing for their lives. They're going to be chucking the ball, right?
But Philip Rivers is so bad. He's so immobile. I mean, you got 7 points out of him last week. Like, fucking fire up Mecca Buka in that scenario.
Right, and the reason there with Rivers, like Rivers to me doesn't really pose upside. Like at that point, I think there's actually more upside to be had with Ibuka somehow, some way. Like those other quarterbacks have upside, although it may be a small percentage. Here's a good. I was going to get to this one. Okay, so Kyle Pitts, obviously career, legacy game, if you will. Drake London comes back. What does this look like? Because Cousins clearly had an eye for him, and it was. You know what's kind of crazy? They talked about this after the game on the set there with Carissa Thompson and company. Cousins and Pitts were talking about during that week. They were basically, Pitts at least said that they were going to like, hey, I'm going to literally be throwing the ball to you, and kind of like they had no choice but to go one-on-one and just you're going to get a jump ball type of thing. So that to me is almost like it was a forced situation that you never see for Kyle Pitts. It's never been that way. Like literally his entire career and since his rookie season. Do they try to lean more into that even with the London back, or is it like, hey, we go back to kind of what we know? London's going to be the clear alpha and Pitts are going to get the ancillary bullshit.
Even with London back, I don't give a fuck. I'd still start Kyle Pitts. Right? You're talking about a tight end. At this point, we're talking. Put the Pitts game aside last week. Like, just put it aside.
Relative to these options, I'm 100% with you. I was talking more a little bit holistically, but yeah.
And if I told you you had to pick between, one of 3 tight ends, right? And I only gave you snap shares, and I told you one of them's playing 90% of the snaps, the other 2 are playing 50% of the snaps. Which one are you going with?
There's no question. I mean, unless you're telling me it's Cade Otton, right? That might be the exception type of the guy,
Kyle Pitts is still playing, even with Drake London back. He's going to play 90% of the snaps at tight end. Rondé Gadsden last week was at 50%. He's been at like 60 many times. That's kind of where he's at. And Isaiah Likely's a part-time player.
Gadsden and Likely both have the tweener snap share percentage, right? They're not trusted in blocking, blah blah blah. Here's what I'll say about Kyle Pitts. What's crazy is, Mike, I think there's reasons obviously not think that the crazy blow-up game is here to stay. All that said, if you're telling me, Mike, I'm at the tight end position, I don't think there's a lot of floor for many guys at tight end, realistically. The whole idea is the ceiling. So, Mike, his ceiling put him at tight end 2 based on a fucking game.
Yeah.
That's the guy I want to play.
Yeah.
That's the ceiling play,
Yeah. This is pretty easily Kyle Pitts. I give 0 shits about Gadsden.
This conversation, I think, is Pitts. I think, Mike, let me ask you this. Do you think, though, that there's a scenario where Pitts gets this kind of forces, especially with the Falcons being out of the situation for the playoffs, right? This forces them to be like, hey, we should try to get this kid more involved here down the stretch. You don't have Penix out there. What else are you going to do?
I do think so. And I think they're more like, YOLO, fuck it. Let's find out. Let's get him some confidence for next year.
And I'm really now kind of curious what the contract situation ends up being, because you had this weird situation where it's like, dude, you've been lifeless. Now it's like one game, though. Here's the thing. What he did was so ridiculous. There's only, I think the last person to do that was Shannon Sharp. I mean, we're talking Unk here. I mean, it's crazy. So,
but even then, like, how even 70% of what he did last week, how many tight ends have the ability to pull that shit off ever?
McBride, him, and Brock probably.
Travis Kelce in his prime.
Well, yeah, but I don't think Kelce anymore, I guess.
But I mean, just throughout
across the history. Yeah, you're talking the elite guys, the Gates, the Gonzalez. You're talking those type of guys, right?
Yeah, you're talking the elite of the elite. So, like, we knew Kyle Pitts was talented, and it's good to see him out there. It's just a matter of, can they build upon this? And I think, to your point, I think with them being out of it, probably a late season, like, let's get him some fucking confidence. Let's figure out what works for our offense. And if Kyle Pitts is a big part of it, sets us up better in 2026. Yeah. But just in regards to this question, this is easily Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, you know what's so wild about the Pitts thing too? We're gonna be like, he's 25. He just turned 25. Freshly 25. Like, it's it'll be interesting to see what his market does. All right. Flex Brees, Diggs, or Gadsden? No, thank you, but I think I'm going Brees here. Unless it's a tight end premium.
I would go Brees.
Gainwell or Tony P? Tony P the last 2 weeks. Running back 11, running back 2.
Tony P.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I did see somebody.
It is so hard to trust. It is so hard to trust the Titans, brother.
Geist, I think it was Geist, said he started Singletary over Tony Pollard last week. I don't know why, but
I don't.
hey.
I don't honestly hate starting Gainwell here, but I think I don't really want to start either. I probably lean Tony Pollard a little bit, but it's not like I think Gainwell's gonna be very much in the same conversation, similar pick or similar ranking wise for me this week. But what are the matchups? Doesn't the Titans play Frisco? Is that right? Or no, that was last week. They play who?
That was last week. Last time they played really well, which was surprising.
Yeah,
surprising. They got the Chiefs, freshly eliminated Kansas City Chiefs, and then
Steelers play who?
The Lions, which makes us a little bit more.
I think I go Kenneth Gainwell now. Fuck, the Lions defense is, dude. Tell me how this defense, right? It's Dan Campbell, right? The defense guy. Now this defense is absolutely garbage.
Well,
and this dude's trying to call plays now. I mean, what is this? Crazy.
He's the offense guy. He was a tight end, man. He's an offense guy.
All right, I don't buy that. This guy is, well, let's neither here nor there. So let's go. Lost a round starting Singletary with Pollard. Yeah, we saw that. That's unfortunate. T over Parkinson is Kittle.
Tight end over Parkinson is Kittle.
I don't think it's a question.
Oh.
Wandale's been low-key cooking. He has been, honestly. Yeah, he has been. All right, let's get to we'll get through a few more of these. All right, so all my flex, should I stick with Pollard or dart throw Reed in a better matchup PPR? I still think what we saw with Pollard versus the Browns, you're just not going to see. I don't think the guy's going to be running away from teams twice in a game. I think probably if you are in a position where you need upside, I'm definitely playing Jaden Reed easily. If you're like, if you think you get away with the floor play, I think I'm playing Pollard. Because I still don't think Reed has any type of safe floor. I don't.
And it's not like, listen, we think the Kansas City Chiefs are awesome defense. They've been pretty good. But listen, they've given up 60 yards to Javonte Williams. They've given up 61 yards to the Marion Hampton last week. And then they gave up 68 yards to Woody Marks. So, like, it's been solid from NFL perspective. It's not like they're getting gaped. Yeah. But they were doing all that while they were in elimination mode. Like, fuck. Right. We got to win or get into the playoffs. Now they're freshly eliminated. How much give a fuck is Chris Jones going to have, right? How much give a fuck is those linebackers, that dynamic linebacker core? Listen, we're talking.
Can I say I think you find out a little bit about Andy Reid and his locker room stuff and how I think if you see this team show up this week, Mike, I think this is a lot about Andy Reid, honestly.
They were top 10 against the run. Before they got eliminated, but it's not like they were top 10 by saying, they're third or they're fourth. They're not top 5. They were like 9th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I stick with fucking Pollard. I think I run the hot hand of fucking Tony Pollard out versus Jaden Reed. I get you what you said earlier about Jaden Reed. It's a better matchup. The whole fucking works, but it's not like the Bears are a fucking pushover either. They got Jalen Johnson back.
That's the thing though. I think that Green Bay. No Parsons, right? I think they're going to have to score.
Think so?
I do.
I don't know if the Bears are like going to run it up.
I don't necessarily think run it up, but I think they're going to probably they've been putting up pretty much in the low 20s locked, sometimes into the 30s,
And Michael Parsons is a one of a kind, player.
Sure.
Off the edge. Right, like one of a kind, and he's dynamic. But let's not forget the rest of that defense is pretty fucking good.
Their defense is good, but it's definitely a step backwards for the defense to have a pass rusher like that gone.
I don't want to minimize it by saying losing Micah Parsons is not something.
That's what I just want to make sure we don't say is like, hey, no, they're good,
But Iowa legend Lucas Van Ness, steps up and now takes a bigger role. He's a good edge rusher.
The bias is not here at any capacity.
Rashawn Gary's fine, and then on the back end of that defense, you got Edgerrin Cooper, you got Xavier McKinney. It's still a very, very good fucking defense even without Micah Parsons.
Barner or Knox? I feel like Knox is Fugazi because it's tight end, it's touchdowns. But
what is Barner?
That's the problem. Barner's have been a wish cast for how many weeks now?
Ever since T-Rex started doing his AJ Barter victory laps, has not been very good for AJ Barter. I think I'll go fucking Doc.
I think it's Barner, but I'm not gonna stand. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think it is, but I'm not gonna stand on it, dude. Knox is still targets, and realistically, he's just gotten touchdowns in crazy situations. I think it's Barner for me. But listen, I'm not gonna stand on that and tell you that you can't play Knox and call me crazy. You absolutely
This is gonna be
can.
the thing that ends our fucking friendship. It's Dawson Knox by a landslide.
Well, a landslide is crazy because
Landslide.
Danny start 11 lineup. Trade Kraft your first and 27 and 26 second for Stroud competing. I got Bowers, Kraft. Okay, so you don't need Kraft. Kraft wasn't a problem for me in this trade anyway, realistically. Your quarterbacks are 11 May. But why do you need to do this then, though? Like, here's my question. Why do I need Stroud when I got Love and May?
I would much rather play C.J. Stroud than Jordan Love this week in the semis, but it's not. It's not enough for me to give up.
I can't go in Dynasty. I can't get behind in Dynasty trading my 27 first, second, in Kraft for a start-sit upgrade at the quarterback position.
Not for 1 week. Like I do want to play. Pretty emphatically, I would much rather play C.J. Stroud than Jordan Love. But I'm like, man, if Stroud can give me like 22, that is kind of what I expect against this defense. But I'm like, Jordan Love might give me 18. Like, do I want to trade a first and a second for literally 4 points for 1 week?
Dude, listen.
I don't think so.
Because I also think, it's a great matchup. But there's a scenario where we see similar to Jalen Hurts, they don't have to throw after the first quarter. Like, they don't. The Raiders are awful. So
fucking bad.
It's I can't do this, dude. I just can't do this personally.
I can't do it.
There's no chance for me.
Now, okay. So let's just think long term about this, though, right? If I told you, listen, I love Tucker Kraft, but he's still a tight end. That's probably going to fall somewhere in the 4 to 8 range in a normal year.
Yeah, I get you. The problem is I think the market for him is clearly showed they're not going to cool, and he's a piece in the offseason that's going to be worth a lot.
Yeah. What would you put his price tag on? If Tucker
he's
Kraft
more than a second, and he's probably – I'd move him for a first, but I think he's probably going to be one of those people that they don't let you move unless you're getting a late first back.
So say Tucker Kraft was fully healthy.
Early second, right. If he's fully healthy, he's a top 50 asset on KTC, for sure. So
he's probably what? Is he 2 first?
A first and a second or to plus? Yeah,
second.
I mean, yeah. Let's just here. You know what? As crazy as this is, Mike, since I got KTC up, let's just go ahead and let's do the damn thing. At the moment, okay, let's put tight end premium on just for the sake. Not even get crazy, just a regular plus. Dude, I bet you right now he's damn near a fucking top. He's a top 50 asset, dead, 46. This includes picks. This isn't even just players.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me at the moment, in tight end premium, he's up. They have him ahead of Stroud if you put tight end premium on in KTC. Yeah. So there's your problem. Take premium off. It's damn near the same pitcher.
It's a Tucker Kraft. It's a Tucker Kraft name. Now, if you swapped him out for a tight end in similar range, right? Like if this was Harold Fan in a first and a second, even for the upgrade this week, like you said, it's just a 4-point upgrade for this week. I would still say this is pretty cheap price to acquire C.J. Stroud for, which I would do, plus the upgrade. But because it's Tucker Kraft and plus how people fucking still revere him.
Let me say that, and let me say another. There's a couple reasons with this. We don't know your roster, but I think about it this way. We're in, at least, Mike, we can agree on this. Whether I know you're still very high on the quarterbacks, and I actually probably, I think relative to market, still am too. But here's the problem. The market, this is the worst market to have excess quarterbacks, right?
It is.
So, like, especially this type of a QB, a Stroud, a Love. May obviously is in a God tier, right? But Stroud and Love just feel stuck in this, you like having them, but you can't move them. Like, I don't want to get stuck here. That's what I don't want to do with this.
I think Tucker Kraft's non-injury price in a tight end premium is damn near 2 first. So
think about this. In a non-tight end premium, KTC, Mike, has fucking Tucker Kraft in the bar is basically what Barkley is, like a mid-26 first. Dude, it's too much.
No.
I don't want to also leverage away my 27 first in a scenario like that where you say, Mike, what if Love outscores Stroud? It's not honestly crazy. It's not crazy. I don't want to leverage my 27 first away for this.
Dan, I would say the only scenario I would say yes in is if you didn't list out your quarterbacks already. You didn't already have like a Jordan Love. Like if you told me,
if you have
listen,
Maine, you don't have you have a shit bird. Fine.
I'm starting Phillip fucking Rivers this week at the semis. I got to trade away Kraft at 27 first and a 26 second for CJ Stroud. I said, fucking send it.
And even then, I'm like, okay, I might do this, but you got to give me something back of some capacity. Like this is a little egregious here, you know.
Yeah, here's some thirds, buddy.
Yeah. Tight ends eat versus Arizona. I blame Eric for Singletary.
I think everybody eats on offense versus Arizona. I don't think there's a position that doesn't eat.
Everybody eats, B. Everybody fucking eats.
Everyone eats.
Wasn't a question, was context from when you were talking about my actual question. Oh, got it, Tomahawk. Okay, you fire up last couple ones here. You fire up Hampton over Ladd in a flex.
No question.
Is it too cute to consider Rodgers versus Lions over Burrow?
No, I'm playing Joe Burrow versus this Dolphins no-name secondary.
I don't think it's too cute. I probably still play Burrow. I don't necessarily. I think there's reasons to be a little bit worried right now for Burrow in this offense, but I'm probably still going to play Burrow over Rodgers.
Well, let's think about Joe Burrow.
The thing is, though, they played Detroit, man.
But it's Aaron fucking Rodgers. No, I'm good, man.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers' last 2 weeks has actually been somewhat solid.
Somewhat solid, right? We shit on Joe Burrow because we saw him play very good and getting very healthy Ravens defense. Right?
Okay, quarterback 8 and 18. The last 2 weeks, Burrow has been worse than Rodgers has.
No, the last week.
Well, the week prior, I'm saying if you look at the 2 weeks in totality, right? Because he was quarterback 3, I think, 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes, he was. He was a 25 fucking point against the Bills.
Well, and why? In that moment when his fucking playoffs hopes went away, now all of a sudden he says he's not having fun. He's talking crazy, and they scored no points last week.
I'm not fucking playing Rodgers. I'm not playing Rodgers.
I mean, I think it's too cute, but I don't think it's not crazy at all to consider. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna while you let's go over this last couple. I'm gonna go over. I want to see, Mike. I don't think there's a 0% chance Burrow had a 0-point game under his resume in the NFL and in college ever. It's insane to think.
Just a question. Aaron Rodgers, with him looking good, who'd he do it against last week?
Is there a worse defense than Detroit? Let me ask you that in response.
There might be the Dolphins' fucking best defense.
I mean,
or the Cardinals, or the Raiders. There's a lot of bad defenses.
Well, but Detroit's about as bad as it gets. And he's actually been throwing the ball downfield the last couple of weeks, which that was the biggest thing. This Rodgers looked like he couldn't. I think it's still Burrow, but I mean, I'm be honest, dude. I'm gonna look up while we have this question up. He says I do have Rivers. Yeah, but you have Love too. Don't do that, Dan Eady. Okay, don't fucking do that. Would you start Corum over Woody? My pivot off Woody is Diggs. Dude, I think Corum over Diggs for sure. So it's if you want to play Woody and he's healthy and you're gonna look at the Jawar Jordan thing, fine. But I don't think it's not crazy to think about Corum over Woody either.
If I don't think it's crazy, but if Woody is healthy against this Raiders defense, I want to fucking fire him up.
Well, here's the problem. We have to decide tomorrow for Corum.
You do.
So if we have
Woody Marks, is he practicing?
That's the problem. If he doesn't practice, I don't think he has. But they also there's weird report. There was a report that said he could have went back in the game too, though.
They say that a lot, and then like
I know it's hard. It's coach speak, I guess, at this time of year. But Burrow or Knicks?
Burrow.
I think I'm here with you too. Knicks. I don't know, man. I've not really ever been a Knicks guy, and it feels very hard to be a Knicks guy at the moment. I mean, am I crazy to say that?
No, you're not. Woody Marks did not practice today.
Oh.
This makes this fucking tough, man. You're going to need a Thursday thing.
Well, here's the thing. Unless you tell me that it's like he's limited and they give you a glowing like he's going to play, because there's no way I'm putting Diggs. I'm not risking Diggs over Corum. Fuck no. Fuck no, dude. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Mr. Jordan Jackson said this is why Sleeper has auto sub. This is why we play best ball. This is why we play best ball.
Dude, Mike, let me ask you this. If Woody Marks doesn't go, is this a real thing? Dude,
no.
Well, Mike, who do they play this week? You keep talking about it.
Don't
stop dismissing this kid. Mike, you know what's crazy? Can I tell you what's crazy?
Darway Ogumbawale.
You know what's crazy? Louisville was the last time he got a real shot. And guess what? He started ahead of Guerrero. His first game getting a touch. His first game getting a touch, he goes over 100.
This is fair.
The Jawar Jordan movie is going to be fucking Netflix worthy.
What was his fucking 40 time? Like 5.5?
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was slow.
It was something.
Was it estimate? Was it estimate level bad? I don't think it was quite estimate bad, was it?
Oh, he's the number one search player profiler. 4.56.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, but at 193 pounds.
Of course, he's 180. He's 175 on soaking wet, you know?
Yeah, they gave him an 89.3 speed score.
Yikes. Is that for real?
It is. It's pretty fucking terrible.
That's kind of estimate level, but he's skinny.
It is.
Right? Like,
it is.
If estimate was skinny, that's what he would run. I'm looking here, Mike. He has not. Last year, there was not a single game that they didn't have a touchdown. Okay, I'm just looking. This is a Burrow season by season here. You know what? This was the closest we got. I'll never forget week 1. The Browns have actually done a really good job with him. They had 3 points in that game 2 years ago.
Yeah, early season, he's always shit for some reason.
But Mike, outside of that, him not having a field goal in a crazy rare scenario, dude. Let me rephrase. Let me re-ask the question. Knowing that he basically is a walking 20 plus, just by suiting up, him going legitimate 0, playing a whole game last week, isn't it fucking a little bit alarming here with what he's saying aloud to everyone? Like
it is
openly.
It depends on what your scoring is too, because per player profiler's got him at 7.5. Which is Phillip Rivers.
Dude, I was gonna say, Mike, tell me you get that from fucking how many flex players? Like 80.
But talking about it here, I got some Aaron Rodgers weeks from this fucking year. 8.4, 9.4, 2.7. So
yeah. They've been pushing it downfield though the last few weeks. I hear you though. I get it. I'm just saying, like, I'm going through. We're talking now. We're talking rookie season Burrow. We're talking they can't protect the kid. They got no weapons. I think it was just T. Higgins, right?
Final answer: you playing Rodgers? You playing Burrow?
Okay, so he was on IR. Just his rookie season. They had 1 game with 3 points. Most of his games he's scoring. I think I have to play Burrow. I don't think I can stomach putting Rodgers out there. But I will tell you this: if you're really worried and you want to put Rodgers, you got those stones. I'm not going to call you crazy. I'm really not. I'm not. I think you'll hate yourself if he goes off, and that's why I can't do it. I won't be able to live with myself having Burrow on the bench, right? I just can't. I won't be able to do it.
Very confidently playing Joe Burrow.
I will strongly sit here and say if anybody very confidently playing Joe Burrow with where his headspace is and them scoring 0 points last week has to be checked some way, shape, or form. Like what they're not even playing for anything. Like it's crazy what happened last week and the way he's talking. Like, is it not crazy the way he's talking? Like everyone should just give this guy a big soapbox. Like, oh, you should feel horrible. What?
He's always been head case.
Completely disconnected from reality right now. This guy is.
Yeah.
That worries me. That absolutely worries me.
Did you not watch the quarterback series, the last one?
Oh yeah. I see.
He's a little bit of a different cat.
I'm not.
For sure.
He is. He's a cat. He's a Bengal tiger. And he's a big pussy too. He's a cat as well. So, all right, last one: Stafford versus Seattle or Herbert versus Dallas.
Ooh.
Yikes. I mean, I'm really kind of. I don't know what to think of Herbert right now. I mean, I love this matchup, clearly. Like, I can tell you the one thing is J.J. McCarthy can go for 30. So, like, it's hard to say the matchup is not. Like, if you just look at who the quarterback was versus Dallas on a weekly basis, I believe they're a top 10 QB, probably a lock, no matter who's playing.
Yes, they get fucking cooked every single time.
So it's, I think by default, I go that route. I feel like watching Seattle last week, their defense is actually pretty good. I think they know each other very well. These NFC West games, when all these teams are very good, outside of the Cardinals, they get to be kind of like, you've seen Muckfest, man. You've seen these games where it's like you don't have a touchdown in the first half, right?
I'm going Herbert pretty confidently.
The problem, while I'm with you, I think I play Herbert. The problem is, okay, am I going to also sit the front runner and possibly runaway MVP candidate when he's having the season he's having? The reason I can say yes is because I think Adams doesn't play.
Yeah.
Right. That's the reason why.
Division game, Thursday night game, on the road, the whole fucking works, right?
Speaking of coaches lying, they said they wouldn't rule him out yet. I mean, is that still
too late?
Doubtful to play. Okay, so that's about as good as it gets for saying he's out. Okay.
Just about everybody but Geno Smith cooks fucking Dallas, and they cooked Dallas when Dallas was playing for something. And the only people that haven't told Dallas that they're eliminated is the math folks who give them a 1% chance to still win the division. Right? So Dallas is fucking eliminated. It's over.
I think you have to play Herbert here. As gross as it feels, I think you have to. You have to. You owe it to yourself. I will say we got a lot of start-sit questions. I hope we go well. I will admit to you that what's McVay's record versus Seattle? It's a good question. I wonder, do you trust AI these days, right?
Kinda. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes
maybe good. Sometimes maybe shit.
Like D-Rock on the cook-up tried to tell me that Travion Henderson has more 50-yard runs than Saquon Barkley. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Not even last year.
Yeah.
Not even versus Saquon last season.
Saquon's got like
good on that kid, though,
a game. Yeah, it's crazy.
Good on that kid for having that type of recency bias. Sean McVay, if you believe AI, is 11-6 versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Seems about right.
But I will say though, it's not. I wasn't going to say I would have said he had their number. The problem is, okay, if we go through those, there's been a lot of these games, especially later in the year, right? In the Pacific Northwest this time of year, it's like it could be. That's another thing. What's the weather look like in Seattle tomorrow?
And for whatever it's worth, Thursday night game, division game, they only got the point
short
total
week this time of year is an awful thing to have because it's people's bodies are getting more and more beat up, and it's a short week. Traveling sucks.
42.5 for the game total as of right now versus Chargers Cowboys is 49.5.
I want you to think about this. The Rams are arguably they might be the top scoring team in the NFL. 42.5 seems like a very low over/under.
It is. 49.5 is on the upper end. There's only one game that has a higher point total. Steelers Lions.
Also,
for your Aaron Rodgers love.
Nice, I like that. Thank you. They do. I will say the one thing about the Pittsburgh that really, if you were anti-Rodgers, you saw it versus the Dolphins. They have this methodical pace. Harmon wants to fucking beat the air out of the ball and just make it as limited possessions as humanly possible. Go old school on you, Mike. Here, let me give you why as well. So you have the Vikings, the hapless Vikings, the Falcons, and the Titans, right? Those games they went off, but I'm watching that game last week. They scored 18 points. They played the Rams the game prior to that, late November. They scored 19 points. I just have seen when the games are tight, when it's a good team, you make Sam Darnold beat you. There's enough film out there that says that the Seahawks are going to have to kind of muck it up with the Rams this week. And you're on the road. It's a division game. It's a big game. I've been in these positions before, expecting really good things to happen. Speaking of expecting Cam Akers to do well, and not only does he not do well, the whole fucking team stinks. I mean, like this game's for first place. I don't think this is going to be a shootout at all.
Yeah, I don't think Sam Darnold's good enough to make this a shootout. He's just not. He's not a good quarterback. So, going Justin Herbert. Dak Prescott's a good enough quarterback, even being fucking eliminated, to make that game a shootout where Herbert's
Is this one quarterback or who, do you have Allen? Like, what's going on here? By the way, that's a
good.
That's a good. That's a good group of quarterbacks.
Probably got Jacoby Brissett as the other one. Locked in.
You know what? Shout out to you, buddy. That's a lock. You put the kid in, no questions about it. Well,
Jacoby Brissett locked in, bud.
Here's another thing, no questions about it. You're playing me this week. It's fucking over. You're dead. Okay.
I love the confidence.
I mean, listen. You know, Mike, how these things go for me. It could be a long week. But
do we got any matchups this week, you and me?
Actually, you know what's crazy? I was looking. I'm pretty sure we don't. And I better see your ass in the championship in the tromboners. Tromboners. I think there's a couple other ones. I do know the tromboners though is me, you, and Eric are the kind of the 3 runaway teams. So that one for sure. I know we could play each other in a couple other ones, but we don't play each other this week. So that's all I need to know. Okay, Mike and myself, we've had some crazy games in the playoffs. I'd like to save him for the title when the money's on the line. All right, I don't need him beating me in the semis. And not only do I lose to him, I'm out of the fucking pot. You know, as I lose to Mike. I don't need that.
If Eric could do me a favor and just roll over this week, that'd be great.
Roll over, you know. Assume the position, E. That's what he's saying, you know.
I just looked at it, man. I need T. Higgins to play this week then. Come on, T. Get back healthy.
I mean, he might be a nice guy. I don't think he's a nice quarterback. I guess the upside is we've seen he could run. I mean, I guess, you know, I say that.
He's athletic. He's athletic.
Sneaky athlete, you know, very sneaky.
It's not the greatest situation for him either. So I'm riddle me kind of impressed with Tyler Shuck this year.
Where I drafted him reluctantly just because of quarterback process, like you have to take QB. I feel as good as I could feel about Tyler Shuck right now. So
he's doing all right.
Yeah. We did a trade show this week, so you'll finally be getting one coming out Saturday. Make sure you're tapping into all the other stuff we got going on here on the South Harmon Vibes channel, on our podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever we get podcasts, South Harmon podcast feed. We'll be here, like I said, the trade show. We'll be doing recap. We got the start sit on the redraft channel. Make sure you're tapping into all those. And at minimum, we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. And go hit that like and subscribe while you're at it. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.